devil take the hindmost. Brass Coast. The Drakes are in Madruga, fighting the remaining Grendel for control of the islands around Atalaya. They are supported by freeborn corsairs and fisherfolk alike, ferried across the hungry sea in boats and ships pressed into service as troop transports. There is significant grumbling on both sides. The marchers do not enjoy the boats, and the freeborn do not enjoy having to turn aside from their business to deliver soldiers to their destinations. Both groups enjoy having Grendel on Imperial soil even less, however, and so the matter is dealt with expeditiously, so the Drakes can get back to dry land, and the freeborn sailors back to work. Thanks to the efforts of Imperial heroes who struck at key targets during the spring equinox, there is little fight left in the Orcs. Those who remain on the Brass Coast are mainly chancers, risking everything for a chance to make a profit or build a name for themselves. They are no match for the disciplined Marcher army. The situation is slightly different on the island of Atalaya. There is a solid core of Grendel troops here who do their best to resist the army of Tom Drake, but they are outmatched, outnumbered, and outclassed. When it becomes clear that they will fail to hold the freeborn town, the Grendel garrison simply surrenders, to the surprise of many. By this point there are perhaps 50 Grendel left. Their commander opens the gates of the town and offers her spear to the first Marcher captain she sees. The Orcs are currently corralled in a makeshift pen on the small island of Mariposa. The freeborn will not suffer them to remain on Atalaya, not after all they have done, and the Drakes are somewhat at a loss to know what to do with them. The captain, Inavia, daughter of Morvain, is quite upfront about her orders, seeing no reason to conceal them. They expected the armour to return, she says. They were to hold Atalaya and Free Landing as a beachhead against a more sizable Grendel force returning. No such force has arrived. Presumably something happened to change the plans of the Salt Lords. Madruga, then, is once more in the hands of the Empire in its entirety. This is not the only military activity in the southwest this season, however. On the other side of the Brass Coast, as far away from Free Landing as it is possible to get, but still be in freeborn territory, an army emerges from the hills of Rhinos. 3 weeks after the spring equinox, over 15,000 Orcs cross the border into Karaman. For the most part, they seem to be Jotun, but they wear hoods or sashes of a bright orange hue over their armour. These Orcs march beneath the banner of the Firebird, a great eagle wreathed in orange flames. This design was first seen in the months leading up to the winter solstice last year, and is now recognisably the device of the Orcs of the Lasambrian Hills. Others march under more traditional Jotun standards, red banners topped with the skulls of great bears. The Jotun under the banner of the bear take the lead. They push straight towards the sat town of Damarta, a lightning advance that seeks to crush the defenders before they can be sure what is happening. The Border Watch is quickly overwhelmed, and it is pure chance their strategy is unsuccessful. A patrol from Fort Braden catches sight of the smoke from their campfires and sends 3 runners to warn the freeborn that the Jotun have come back. As the bear army pushes forward, the Orcs of the Hierro clan, and their new banners, follow in their wake. The Lasambrians are more cautious, defensive, prepared for a trap. They secure the territory the army of the bear has claimed, rather than pushing to the heart of the territory. A combination of the two strategies proves very effective. Without the Imperial soldiers from the fort, it is likely that the whole of Serra da Marta would have fallen to them in short order. At the same time, the Corazon range far and wide across the territory. They are clearly more interested in causing as much disruption as possible than on engaging with the scattered freeborn defenders. They are not shy about fighting, and those who try to resist are dealt with without pause, but they do not go out of their way to kill anyone who does put up a fight. Instead, they raid caravans and farms, rob paradors and mines, and even take the time to carry away crystal mana from any mana site they encounter. Anything that might be useful to the defenders of Karaman appears to be fair game. Nowhere is safe. Bands of Corazon Orcs are seen as far east as Nestor's Bounty. Both the Great Mine of Briante and the Dalmatian Cliffs are targeted by these fast-moving Orcs, who raid caravans transporting valuable mithril and white granite, carrying away some of the bounty of those 2 boar seats. When the Jotun retreated from Karaman in the winter of the 380th year of the Empire, they left a message on the walls of Damarta saying they would return. It seems it is a promise they are intent on keeping. Game information: Madruga and Karaman. Madruga is entirely in Imperial control once more. There are 50 Grendel prisoners in a makeshift pen on the island of Mariposa in free landing, including their commander Inavia, daughter of Morvain. A decision will need to be made about what to do with them. The Imperial Military Council will most likely be called upon to make this decision. There seem to be three likely outcomes. The orcs could simply be executed. They are barbarians after all. They could be released, given a boat, and told to go home. Or someone could try to negotiate with the Grendel somehow for a suitable ransom. Regardless of what is done, if they are still prisoners by the end of the summer solstice, they will need to be fed and watered, and freeborn guards employed to keep an eye on them. This will be paid for out of the Imperial Treasury, and is estimated to cost 2 thrones each season until the prisoners are dealt with. In Karaman, Jotun conquerors have claimed everything of note in Serra da Marta, with the exception of Damata itself and the Dalmatian cliffs that overlook it. Without the garrison at Fort Braden, they would have taken the entire region, and likely have made some headway into Gambit, or, more likely judging on past campaigns, Serra Briante. At the same time, the Hierro and the army beneath the Bear banner have been doing their best to conquer Serra da Marta. The Corazon have been extensively raiding all across the freeborn territory. The first result of this action is that the production of both the Great Mine of Briante and the Dalmatian Cliffs will be reduced next season as a consequence. 4 fewer wains of white granite for the Dalmatian Cliffs, 2 fewer wains of mithril for the Great Mine of Briante. If the Corazon continue to raid the territory, then the production may be impacted again. Worse, if their raids continue, then every personal resource, with the exception of military unit or fleet in the territory, will lose 1/5 of its production next season.